So, Mitch, we're going to ask you a few questions. This the Shake True Hoops Ball for All alumnus. Me and Shake have been doing this, or Shake and myself. Look at me, grade 5 of grammar here. Been doing these calls, and they've been really good. And unfortunately, the only one that we haven't got on YouTube so far is a non-varsity player who won't be mentioned. But since everyone been on has been varsity and has played post-secondary, it's been really good. So just give us a little bit about your bio, your background, who you are, and what you've done in the game of ball since you left Ball for All / Shake True Hoops when you're little.
Where do you want me to start? Like high school, uni?
Start at high school. Sorry, go ahead, Shake.
Hey, before you do, that was one of my questions because I'm a little confused and I'm not sure I remember correctly. What age were you when we started working on skills? Do you remember? I know I was working with you and I believe maybe Jesse and Luke showed up later, but not that much later. But I can't remember what age.
It might have been like even, I don't know how old you are in like grade 3 or grade 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think you're in the 8 and 9. Well, if you're in grade 2, I think you're 7 or 8.
Yeah. I have pictures of me in grade 4, like playing in that 3-on-3 tournament. So I know it was before that.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If I look at some of this stuff I have, perhaps. But the truth is, I couldn't really tell how old you were. Certainly, your hair's gotten a little shorter since then.
I was back when it was like down to here.
Yeah. So, okay, we've got the age thing down. Let's get back to Terry's question. Tell us a little about yourself.
So in grade 9, I played at just Bishop Mac, the high school in Guelph, which I was supposed to go to. And then I went to grade 10 at Rita with Terry at St. Mary's. Then that moved over to Orangeville, where I went and played there. And then grade 12, I wanted to graduate with like my friends from home. So I went back to Bishop Mac. But I still played with Rita. So I'd go on tournaments and play like exhibition games there. And then I did 12 plus back at Orangeville. And then from there, I went to Carleton. And first year Carleton, rock the bench. But that's how it goes. Work your way up. We won nationals that year. Then the second year I got decent. I think it jumped to like around 17 minutes. That was kind of my career average, like 20 minutes per game. Then won a championship second year. Third year was the year we were supposed to lose. We didn't really have like the best team, but we were still pretty talented, and the guys were definitely hustling. So we took third year, and then fourth year we lost, and then fifth year we won again, and that was my career.
So you've won 3 U Sport championships or four. And didn't you guys win an officer championship at Bishop Macdonell too?
Yeah, won officer grade 9 and grade. Oh no, I didn't win officer. Lucas won officer.
Oh, Lucas won officer. You guys didn't. You weren't on that. I thought your grade 12 year you guys won officer, but that was Lucas that won officer. Okay, sorry. You Wood family seems to win. I know that even with us with Rita, I think you were on one of the teams or two of the teams that we won the MPSA championships too. I believe so. I believe you're on one of those teams, or both of those teams. They end up winning those too at Seneca, and I'm just trying to figure out. And I know you came with us. Did you play when you came with us to France, or are you just there pretending doing the upshot stance at the Eiffel Tower, making fun of me when I wasn't around?
Well, I went to France twice. The first time I was doing the upshot stance, kind of standing around, and the second time I played.
Yeah. Okay. So you had a really outstanding career of, winning lots of championships and really getting it done. And, obviously your District 10 was only grade 9 and grade 12, but I always go back to District 10 because that's where everything started. And that's kind of, what it was. Tell me the transition for you. I want a couple questions, Shake. That's cool. Tell me the transition from playing regular Bishop McDonald High School to walking into a training academy for 2 years, and how you felt and how your adjustments, and was there frustrations, and just a little bit of story about that.
Well, it's weird going from like the tallest, most athletic like man in Guelph then to this training academy where I'm just a little kid compared to these guys. So that was a big difference, and definitely the skill too. Because I think like that young, like I think if you're athletic enough, you're going to be a good basketball player. And then, but if you don't have that talent, then too, like I could get by. Like I was doing very good in Guelph, being just more athletic and like taller than everybody. But then once I get to these training academies, I realize, oh, I'm a small fish in this pond. And then that's kind of where I think I learned to hustle. And that was more my game in university, just going after the ball, like being the hustle guy. Wasn't the best scorer, but we all have our positions to play. I think that's where I got that kind of drive when I realized, okay, I'm not gonna impact the game at this point by just being able to jump higher, get to the rim. I gotta actually now, for me to have an impact, I gotta get rebounds, get loose balls, play hard defense. So in a way, I lost like maybe confidence. Not even, I was pretty confident, but I lost having to be like that impact scorer to being that make an impact on the game in different aspects, which not a lot of people I found take advantage of. If you're not the best player, if you just hustle harder than everybody else, you're gonna get minutes and you're gonna make an impact on the game.
Sure.
That's a very good point, and probably something that most people should understand, but it takes like a level of maturity to get there. So I commend you for that, because a lot of people are really stars early and then have a tough time transitioning to not being the top guy.
Yeah, I think it just depends what you take pride in. Like if you take pride in, oh, I'm gonna drop 30 points a game, or you could be like the Draymond Green, or just like I take pride in causing havoc and having like being like you want the team to hate playing you, and you want your team to love playing with you.
Yeah.
So if you're that guy, you're either loved or hated, and there's no middle ground, and it's fun to be that guy.
I got a quick question, and I remember watching your last game when you had, I don't know, I think it was 11 offensive rebounds in the last 8 minutes of the game to seal it for Carleton. What did Coach Smart say to you as you walked off the court? Because I know he took you off the court. Do you remember what he said to you? Because I know he's a tough coach. Do you remember what he said? Or because I know he took you to the side and said something in your ear. Because I remember watching and going, I was thinking to myself, what did he just say?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know it was along the lines of, I'm glad you got to like finish your career off that way.
Okay.
Because it was like a very just like that's who you were your whole Carleton. I'm glad you got to finish how you started kind of way.
Right on. That's cool. And so let's talk about. Sorry, go ahead, Shake.
Go ahead, finish, Terry.
I was just going to say, let's just talk about the Carleton work ethic. And again, never been part of the program, but my understanding is that you guys, after winning championships, Coach Smart would give you maybe a week off, and you guys were right back in the gym again. Is that the mindset there? And also that you used to wrestle during summertime to get strong. Are those true stories, or are they, fabrications?
There is no intentional wrestling. But maybe sometimes practice got heated, but that's rare. That's rare that would happen.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I didn't know what hard work was until I got to Carleton. Like, I thought you think you're working hard, but then you're like, there's people out there spending 4 hours in the gym. Like the time you spend watching TV, someone else is, and people say that to you all the time, right? And you're just like, oh yeah, of course, someone's doing that. But to be like the top 1% in anything, you have to dedicate yourself to it. It doesn't just come. It's not just an accident that even in other aspects of your life, like extreme example, Elon Musk, like he doesn't just chill. He dedicated himself to learning. LeBron dedicated himself to basketball. And it's just, you don't see that in everyday life because they're not everyday people. And then at Carleton, they push you to not be an everyday person.
What was it like when you were growing up playing in like a basketball family? Your dad played, and certainly all of your siblings played. What was it like at family dinner after tournaments? Give us some insights in that whole scene.
Growing up, I think I was the more outgoing one. And then Connor was quieter back then. Lucas was quiet. So I would be the one, I always like ruffling feathers. So I'd be the one chirping, saying like, because I think I peaked early, you know, like as a kid, I'd be dropping like 20 points at like grade 4. And then I'd be like, I'm better than both you guys. Then Connor would play me in one-on-one and he'd win. And then I'd be really upset. And Lucas would never play us. So I don't know. Lucas would just go shoot by himself.
Yeah, he developed a pretty nice shot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember having him at camp, and the big deal when you guys were coming to camp in the summer was Lucas busting like 150 push-ups a day in 15 minutes. It was pretty funny to watch. I'm sure he'd have a tough time struggling through that now, but he used to do that daily at camp. Do you have any memories about playing in Guelph other than high school? Like you had a few coaches through your rep stuff, and how was that as a second type of scene other than high school?
Yeah, like growing up, like early age, like elementary school, it's like my dad and Jesse Kendall's dad were the coaches. And I always liked having my dad as the coach, and I thought it was fun. Like, got to go to tournaments together and play. We were pretty good. So I always liked, and like our team was always very close. Like all the guys on the team, if I even like, we don't like, I don't talk to them much anymore, but every time I see them, like if I'm out about in Guelph and I run into them, it's always like there's like that bond there. And then like even Kevin Roach, like every time I'm in Guelph and I go to, me and Connor and Lucas want to play, we need another person, I text him. Like we don't talk besides that. Like, hey, we're going to play basketball, you coming? And he's always there and he's always excited to play. So it's always fun. And so yeah, they were my coaches till grade 8. And then grade 9, or maybe grade 8 and grade 9 was Van de Kamp, Mark Van de Kamp. And then that's when I was always a point guard. Then I got pushed to like the 4, which was fine. Then Andy Kwiatkowski was grade 10. And that was fun because he wasn't like related to anybody on the team. So it was like kind of nice to have just like an outside, like after playing your whole life with just, I guess my dad was that guy. And that was fun. And he was a fun coach because he's younger too. And he could dunk still, and he's like dunking at Centennial, which is always cool to see. And then he had like some unique drills, and he played Team Canada too, so he was always just like picking him for knowledge. Like, how'd you get so good?
Yeah, for sure. Is there any in Guelph during your high school career, any memory, or I guess this school with the high school career, any great memory of a game where, you know, after that game you're like, that was one of the most special games where I really enjoyed that, or I made my mark in this game? Because again, you had Connor going before you, and you had Lucas behind you, and obviously Dan, also your dad, and the Wood family's, it's a big name in Guelph for basketball. But is there a point where you stepped in and it was Mitch's time, in your opinion?
No, just I just go game by game as more like always more for the team. Like we're all, I don't need the glory, I don't need whatever. It's all If the team's happy, I'm happy. If we win, we win. If we lose, then I'm not happy, and I've got to take ownership of that.
Okay. I remember one time when you were playing for me at Rita, and I don't know if you recall this, but we were playing in the States. I can't remember where we were playing, and you gave a kid an elbow, a real elbow, and I took you out, and I'm like, why'd you do that? And you looked at me, you said, I got him back from last year when he gave me a shot. Do you recall that? Because I was talking to Thomas Cursis the other day, and he brought that up. He's like, you remember when Mitch did this? I'm like, oh, I don't, but like he remembered it vividly. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, I remember that. I still remember guys who gave me cheap shots, and I'm still waiting.
I love that. That's, speaking of, who was some of your competition in high school? Like here in Guelph, when you were playing, were you guys just ever put to the test against other guys? And were there any guys that you felt were a tough match?
Yeah. Like there's Eric Stern and Alex with the really long last name. And they're both at Centennial. And they're like
Kadlajerovic.
Yeah. And they're always like hard to play. And then Trang was on that team too. Because they had different style than my team. Like they're more shooters and we're more like just, I guess Jesse was a shooter. We're more just, and we had like Sean and Ben and Owen, who's a shooter. Yeah, but we're more hustlers, I would say. So it's a different style. And when we come, especially in high school, you don't play many people who are like knockdown shooters. So we're like, okay, shoot your threes. But if they're actually making them, it kind of changes the game. So that was tough. And then Ross was good with Christian. But our team was relatively stacked for Guelph because we had most of like my age rep players also went to BM. So we kind of had a big advantage.
So then that took you out of town. Were there teams in Kitchener that gave you battles?
Don't really remember. I remember some like we're going to like tournaments like the Rim Rocker, and then in OFSA, there was one team that I don't know who they were. But we played them twice, and the first time we won at the buzzer, and then the second time we lost. And it was both like really like tough, grimy games. But that was fun. I don't remember what team they were.
I have one more question before Terry jumps in.
Sure.
You managed to, obviously, 4 out of 5 years at the university level, you won gold medals. It was alluded to that you had made all kinds of teams with success, traveling teams, and so on. I'd like to know, what are your tips for making a team? If like a young guy here is going out for a tryout, or a young woman is going out for a tryout, what would you say are the things that are most important in your mind for success?
Besides like skill, which once you're at the tryout, like you're kind of where you are is where you are. If you want to make an impression, be the energy guy, like be excited to be there, have a great attitude, have really positive body language, talk to the coaches, and like show that you're a team player, like get to know like the guys who are trying out with you. If you work harder than everyone and you're like trying to be a leader too, you're going to at least make an impression. Like you're not going to leave and people and to be like, oh, I left and I just wasn't given a chance. You would leave and then the coaches at least will have a reason why you didn't make it. And then you have to benefit because they will have to notice you. And if you go for every rebound, sprint back on defense, sprint for that offensive rebound, and then make it back on defense to cut off the transition, you're going to make an impact in the game, which is going to get you noticed. And if you're not yelling at guys, but like motivating them, or like if you see someone not trying, just be like, fight for the team. Don't think about yourself. you think about yourself, you're not doing anyone any good. And just push that attitude, push that mentality, and make yourself noticed in a positive way.
Those are really good answers for sure. So just to change up a little bit, like what are you doing now? Where you've graduated, and are you in Toronto? Are you in Guelph? Are you in Ottawa? What are you doing, and where are you living? What's your story these days?
I'm still in Ottawa. Decided to stay here after I graduated. Maybe I'll move home eventually. I will definitely move home eventually, or close. No, maybe not Guelph, but that area, so I can see my family, not just a few times a year. I'm in the bank. I started as a teller, then moved my way up pretty quick to a branch advisor, which is just the next step. Now, just gonna do that route. Hopefully, get into wealth management eventually. Could be a career change. Who knows?
We'll see what happens. So, you see yourself with all this knowledge and all the championships, and you ever see yourself coaching at all? Like, even at the high school level or at the club level, or do you ever see yourself giving back to the game that way?
Yeah, I would love to coach. Like once COVID's up, I'll probably coach that year, probably high school, and then start there. And then if I enjoy it, I'll continue.
Okay, we'll have to get a picture of the Mitch stance instead of the Upshaw stance and see if you have your own sort of style. Sideline.
Might just copy the legendary stance. If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
So question, I want to go back to Carleton just quick, because again, all the success and everything like there. Give me a day in the life of a Carleton basketball player, as say a third or fourth year player that's on the floor. Like, what's your, from the crack of the morning till night? What would a day in the life be like?
Well, it's very organized. So you have your week planned. Like on your own, you have practice Monday to Thursday, like during season, games Friday, Saturday. So if it's at home, practice would be later on Thursday. Then you have practice is 2 hours and 15 minutes. And then from there, you have a meeting after practice going over it, which would typically be around 30 minutes, which was a little excessive at times. But it was like that was also one of like the things that you look back and you miss, because it's like that's when it gets like reviewing it, and it makes it more competitive. I don't know how to really explain it, but then you'd have 2 individuals, which is an hour practice with maybe 5 other guys, but it'd be working on your individual skills with the coach. So it'd be like everyone gets their own basket, and then there'd be drills where it's like with each other. And then you'd also have to we had a rule, I think it was, you have to make 80 out of 100 threes or shoot 1,000 threes. And then once people started getting consistent at that, it got to 85 out of 100 or 1,000 threes.
Is this weekly or daily?
85 out of 100 became daily.
Wow.
And then if you didn't make it, then in practice we'd run. Because in practice it's called pairs. And then if you don't make, it was 40. I think it was 40, unless they changed in practice. I'm not sure. If you don't make 40 out of 53s in practice, then you're running. I don't know how much, but you're running.
So you were in good shape. Yeah, you guys, your team wasn't. Again, talking with Coach Smart, I've talked to him many times, and he always says the same thing to me. He goes, "Terry, we shoot a lot." I go, "How much is a lot?" He goes, "A lot." Right?
Yeah,
so
the game seems to be changing to go that way. So
yeah,
get your shots up.
Yeah. So after that, continue with your week.
So that's that. Then you'd have film Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or maybe it was Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Then film, well, obviously film on game days, film.
You guys are pretty much all consumed with team stuff throughout the week.
Yeah, no, you basically lived in the team room.
You're invested in that, right?
Pardon?
Okay.
He said you're invested.
Yeah, definitely committed to that. I think we're running out of time. We got about 5 minutes left. I'd like to ask you what it was like playing with your brother, and did you ever get to play against your brother, Luke? Did you ever get to play against him when you were in university? And what was it like playing with Connor? Like, also, I think there was a Simon Chamberlain at Carleton also.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool Guelph connection, right?
Yeah. So playing with Connor, I loved it. I loved having because our game styles couldn't be more different, right? So he got all the points, all the glory, or maybe not glory, but he got what would be perceived as the better career. And then I did the dirty work, which was, I liked it. I enjoyed doing it. So
Sure.
I really liked that. I really liked how our games were just completely different, just how it turned out. And then we did play Lucas. And I remember when Connor was in his 5th year, Lucas would have been in his second year. And every time Lucas got switched on Connor scored every time. That's still good.
Did you tell him about it? Did you talk to him about it?
Oh yeah, that still gets brought. Literally every time
he needed to foul.
Connor scored the basketball.
And so, where did your mom and dad sit during these games? Were they neutral or were they on the Carleton side?
Oh, they came to win.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Or it depends who you ask. If you ask Lucas, they probably told him the same thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Shake, I'll let you finish it up here. You know what I mean? It's been really good seeing you, Mitch, and hopefully when you're down in Guelph area, we can connect for sure. But I'll let Shake finish up the session here.
Okay, I always ask what your top 3 secrets to success were. And before I do that, I want to make sure that I snag you next time you come to Guelph. If I've got some stuff going on, will you be a guest that will show some of the hardware you got?
Of course, I'd love to do that.
All right, fantastic. You're officially invited, and we'll connect through there. But what are your top 3 success tips?
I'll give unique ones. I think not a lot of people give. I'd say number 1, find out what hard work is. Figure out how far you can push yourself. Figure out, if you think, set a schedule. Number 2 would be discipline. Set a schedule, stick to it. If you can't stick to it, don't quit. Make it a little easier, that's completely fine. And then work on it. You're not going to be the most disciplined person right away. It's just not how it works. And number 3, get a jump shot. I figured that out the hard way. Don't do that. Get a jump shot, work on it early, do form shooting, lie down shooting, get a smooth jump shot, and then that opens up your game for everything. And then I would also like to say one thing, because when I was doing this meeting, I was thinking about it. It's when I remember when I first started playing basketball, it's you don't be serious. You don't need to be I need to be the best right away. When I was a kid, I didn't care about that. I just wanted to have fun playing basketball. And I went to a bunch of Guelph camps growing up before I went to Shakers, and I hated all of them. I love basketball, but I hated every camp I went to except for Shakers. And I think it was more because Shakers was for the love of the game. That's where you find that's where I found fun with basketball. And then if you're not having fun with basketball, you're not going to do the other things, right? You're not going to get disciplined. You're not going to want to get disciplined to be great. And Shaker, I don't know if he still does, but he had the rule where it's I'm not gonna push you to be hard while you're here, at least in the early age group at the morning camp. If you're here because you're forced to be, that's fine with me. You'll have a great time here. But if you're here and you also want to be better, that's excellent. Right. That's what you do. And then that's what I think was fun about it. Cause at times, as a little kid, oh, I don't want to work that hard right now. I just want to have fun. You just feel okay, go have fun. As long as it's basketball related and within the camp, obviously it was organized camp, you would have fun. And that's what I liked about Shakers. You never felt you were excluded or looked down upon for just taking it a bit easy at times. It was the love of the game at the beginning.
Well, thank you very much for saying that, and I hope that we perpetuate that kind of attitude about the game, because at a young age, it's hard to commit to anything. And Terry and myself and many of the kids that we've worked with think it's probably a good idea to not specialize completely. So yeah, absolutely, having fun and pursuing fun while being serious can be absolutely the key to a lot of kids' success. So I'd really like to thank you. We have 30 seconds. Terry, do you want to say anything? I am really proud of the way you had a career and some of the obstacles that you overcame. And congratulations. Wishing you all the best.
Yeah, same here. I just want to wish you all the best, and keep grinding, Mitch. Love to see you. I mean, when you get down, definitely go for a pint, and when you find that guy that gave you the elbow, please let me know, because I want to be there when you give him the elbow back.
Thank you. Yeah, it'd be great to catch up in person.